Take a look at any of these houses and imagine one of these is your perfect dream house. If I told you, Mr. and Mrs. Homebuyer, one of those houses based on the criteria you told me is the perfect house for you, it's in the perfect location, it's within your budget, it's next to amazing amenities, it's next to amazing schools that you wanted for your kids. However, Mr. and Mrs. Homebuyer, if you buy one of those properties, it will go down in value over time. Would you still buy that property? If you're looking to buy and invest in Calgary, and to be honest, some other markets across Canada as well, there's a certain type of property that's been appreciating tremendously over the past couple of years over here in Calgary. People have been enjoying the gains and it has been appreciating tremendously. However, based on the data I'm seeing, that I'm researching, I believe this type of property is about to start moving flat and then decreasing over the next couple of years. And which type of property is it that's seen tremendous increases in the past couple of years and is about to start decreasing? Apartments. Okay, here's the thing about apartments. I remember the days prior to COVID, if I got calls about listing an apartment for sale, a huge number of people were either in the negative in terms of equity or they were completely flat. And that was after owning it for years and years. Leading up to 2014, like many other types of housing in Calgary, apartments had started seeing a rapid increase in value. However, after 2014, there was around a 6 to 7 year stretch where the values of apartments consistently decreased year after year. There were many points in time during that stretch where the months of supply for apartments reached staggering numbers, such as 9.84 months in January 2016, 8.37 months in September of 2016, 7.25 in August of 2017, and an apocalyptic 14 months in April of 2020 when COVID was in its infancy. The benchmark price for an apartment in October of 2014 was $287,900. Want to take a guess where that benchmark price was almost 6 years later in June of 2020? $228,000. After years and years, anybody who had bought around 2013 was around flat in terms of what their value was relative to where they bought it for, but whoever bought in 2014 were in serious negative territory. What about after 2020? What happened to apartments after 2020, after COVID? Well, a lot like a rocket ship, apartments took off. Since June of 2020, for the most part, we've seen consistent month-over-month price growth for apartments in Calgary. I'm not kidding. If you look at prices since then, it's been a pretty consistent straight line upwards. If you bought an apartment in the past couple of years, the thoughts of refinancing at some point has probably even crossed your mind. Since 2020, they've been doing fantastic. But like I said in the beginning of the video, I believe this is about to change and we're about to see a massive shift in apartments here. Let's look at some data and information though, so I can make my case as to why my opinions are the way they are. Here's some data provided by the Calgary Real Estate Board, which I have access to, and this shows for apartments Calgary-wide, not community specific, not price specific, Calgary-wide. Sales to listing ratio, inventory, months of supply, and the benchmark price. So this is showing from 2013, but we're going to go down to a little bit after COVID. All right, we're going to start off around April of 2020, and this is around the time COVID was just starting, and here's that apocalyptic 14 months of supply number I mentioned earlier. 14 months. Just imagine that, okay? This is around the time benchmark price, is around $231,400. Now, over time, you'll see benchmark price just going up, up, and up. You'll see that if you just watch. It's going higher, 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 higher. It just keeps on going up and up and up and up. And you'll also notice around that time, the months of supply starts dropping as well. There were sometimes we were below 2 months. You can see here, below 2 months. But now I want to show you the past couple of months here in Calgary, all right? Let's take a look at this. Let's look at the past couple of months since around September. Now, September was a bad month in general for Calgary. I'll be honest, detached, duplex, townhouse, all across, it was a pretty bad month. But you'll notice a pretty big jump from 1 month of inventory to 3.25 for apartments, all right? You'll also notice around this time, the price not really increasing and kind of stalling. You can see that, right? And then you'll also notice the inventory around 600 this year. Now it's jumping up to 11, 12, 13, 14, 1600 September, which was a really bad month, but just kind of hovering high. Sales to new listing kind of dropping, you can see as well. You'll notice that the prices since August have been steadily dropping. And then I want you to look at the months of supply. 3.5 months of supply. When is the last time that here in Calgary we had 3.5 months of supply for apartments? Well, let's take a look. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. we have to go all the way back to the end of 2021 to find similar months of supply. Now, for the inventory, 1,300 for January 2025. When was the last time in Calgary we had this much inventory for apartments in January, which for the past couple of years has been very, very low inventory across the board? Let's take a look. All right, so 1,300. Let's look at 2024 January, 685 compared to 1,300 now. All right, let's look at 2023, 772 compared to the 1,300 we have now. 2022 January, 1,062, kind of getting closer, but not there. Then we go to 2021, 1,300. So we have to go back to 2021 January to get similar inventory levels, okay? And prior to that, in January of 2020, before COVID started, we also had about 1,300. So we're back to those levels now. Let's take a look at what's happening across Canada. Now, a lot of these stories I'm going to open are going to be mostly in Vancouver and Toronto, Ontario and BC at large, but I'm trying to paint a broader picture. I just showed you the data. So let's look at this headline over here. Okay, this is from earlier in 2024. Real estate receiverships on the rise in Canada as projects stall. This article here talks about how there's a few different projects going across Toronto and one in Vancouver. This 55-story condo tower in Vancouver filed for receivership in mid-January, including BMO, which is seeking repayment of more than $82 million in loan. Another article in Bloomberg, growing distress in Canada, condos turn lenders into developers. And this article talks about how there's some lenders across Canada who are finding that they have little choice, as it says here, but to buy the troubled projects they backed initially and finish the buildings themselves. 6,800 new condo units changed to rental canceled in receivership since 2022 across GTA. So what I'm trying to show is that this is just based on some data and information that I'm showing you in some news articles. It hasn't started in Calgary yet, but I do believe with the amount of inventory that's coming onto market for condos, projects with condos that are finishing, that are going to continue flooding supply in Calgary, if you're planning on buying one right now, do not expect much equity appreciation over time, because I believe that there's going to be so much inventory flooding the market with apartments that you're probably going to be in a situation where when you put it for sale, you're going to be competing with a ton of other apartments. If you end up enjoying the video, hit the like button, subscribe for more content similar to this. If you need any help or assistance in buying or selling a home, looking for an investment property here in Calgary and surrounding areas, please feel free to reach out to me or leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to help. Catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye.